Hello everyone, welcome to the video lecture on GPAT 2021 Pharmacology Answer Explanations. I hope all of you did well in your GPAT examination, and now I am going to start this series on GPAT 2021 question paper analysis with explanation. First I am going to start with pharmacology and slowly I will cover all the topics. So this is my channel. If you like the video, do subscribe, and these are my subscribers count. Let's begin the topic. Now in pharmacology, the first one is long-term use of thiazide diuretics in hypertension can produce all the following except. I have already discussed some of the strategies wherein you find this kind of questions. All the following except means out of 4, 3 are correct but 1 is wrong, and we need to find out what is the wrong answer is. So out of 4, 3 are adverse effects of thiazides but 1 is not. But before getting into that, let us understand what you mean by thiazide diuretics. Thiazide diuretics will inhibit sodium chloride symporter at thick ascending loop of Henle. So what happens is when the symport is blocked, reabsorption of sodium chloride into the body is inhibited and they will be passing through the collecting duct. When they are going down, because they increase osmotic gradient, along with that water is also lost, and that is how they will cause diuresis. So mechanism of action is sodium chloride symporter inhibitor. They are also known as saluretics. Saluretic means salt uresis. Now what could be the adverse effects with this? Now look at this one. So see, this is how they will act. They are inhibiting sodium chloride reabsorption. So sodium will be going out of the body. So that will be acting at this junction. But when the sodium is coming down at the collecting duct, sodium is again reabsorbed into the blood and it is exchanged either with potassium or a proton. So what happens? Potassium will be going out of the body, and this condition is called as kaliuresis. Otherwise, thiazide diuretics will cause hypokalemia. Hypo means reduced amount of, kalium means potassium in the blood, because they are causing the loss of potassium. So this is the one of the adverse effect. Now, not only that, the other one is thiazides will inhibit uric acid elimination. Normally, uric acid from the blood goes to nephron, but that is inhibited by thiazides, and that results in increased uric acid in the blood, and the condition is known as hyperuricemia, increased levels of uric acid in the blood. Not only that, thiazide diuretics will inhibit the release of insulin. When insulin secretion is reduced, what happens? Glucose levels in the body increases, and that causes hyperglycemia. When glucose level is increased, it also causes hyperlipidemia. So all these are adverse effects of thiazide diuretics. Now look at them. So when you put all of them together, they cause profound extracellular fluid volume depletion. Hypokalemia, potassium loss is there. Hypomagnesemia, magnesium loss is also there. But they cause hypercalcemia. That means calcium levels are increased. In fact, in one of the GPAT, this question was asked, which diuretics increases calcium level? That is thiazide. Hyperuricemia, as I told you, uric acid levels are increased. Hyperglycemia, glucose levels are increased, as well as hyperlipidemia. Now look at the question. So out of them, which one is not the adverse effects of thiazide one? Hyperglycemia, we have seen this is true. Hyperlipidemia, we have seen this is true. Hyperuricemia, this is also true. Hyperkalemia, no. In fact, thiazides will cause hypokalemia. In the blood, calcium levels are reducing, or calcium loss is, potassium loss is there. Kalium means potassium. So this is not the adverse effects, and you are looking for this one. So the answer is hyperkalemia. This is not adverse effect of thiazide diuretic. Rest of all are correct. So the answer is 1. So now understand these things. See, for every question you need to analyze like this. You need to know the reasons, then you will get the command over subject. Moving to the next one. Now, which of the following is a competitive antagonist at benzodiazepine site of GABA receptor gated chloride channel? Now, GABA is a neurotransmitter which is widely present in central nervous system. Now that neurotransmitter activates a chloride channel. When the neurotransmitter binds with the channel, chloride conductance into the cell increases. When chloride conductance is increased, it causes hyperpolarization, and this hyperpolarization in the neurons will result in sedation and hypnotic effects. So most of the sedative hypnotics will be acting on this GABA receptors. But GABA receptors has got so many binding sites. Let us have a look about this. So this is a typical GABA receptor, and you have a site called as GABA site. GABA site means the neurotransmitter GABA itself goes and binds there. Agonist and antagonist, both of them will go and bind with this site. There is an agonist called as Maximal. So this Maximal is a GABA agonist. It binds at GABA site. Understand this one. Now after that, you have another site known as barbiturate sites, wherein barbiturates will go and bind. So this site is different with GABA site. Now the next one, benzodiazepine site. So this is the site where benzodiazepines acts. Agonists like diazepam, alprazolam, alprazolam, like Restil, a very popular drug. All of them will bind at this site, and they are all agonists. Now not only that, benzodiazepine antagonist like flumazenil. Flumazenil is an antagonist which binds at these receptors and blocks the binding of benzodiazepines. Now then there is one more drug called as inverse agonist. Inverse agonist like beta carbolines. Beta carbolines also bind at this site, but they show opposite actions to these benzodiazepines. Hence they are known as inverse agonists. So at this site you have all the three agents will bind: agonist, antagonist and inverse agonist. One more site is there which is known as steroidal site, and another site is picrotoxin site. Now at this site, when picrotoxin bind, it blocks chloride conduction. If chloride is passed, it causes hyperpolarization. If it is blocked, it causes depolarization. Now excessive depolarization results in convulsion action. So these are all the brief sites on benzodiazepine receptor. Now the question, what is the question about? The question is about, you need to figure out a competitive antagonist at benzodiazepine site. Competitive antagonist at benzodiazepine site means this one. And what is the drug is? Flumazenil. So the answer is flumazenil. You can see Maximal binds at GABA binding site. Picrotoxin has got a different site and it acts as convulsant. Beta carbolin also binds at benzodiazepine site, but they are not antagonists, they are inverse antagonists. Competitive antagonist is only flumazenil. So the answer is flumazenil. Now moving to the next question. Now this is also a kind of tricky question, but understand this. The beta 1, beta 2 adrenergic receptor subtype agonist acting at atrioventricular node produces the following responses. Now you need to understand this one. See, beta receptors are present, beta 1 receptor is present on cardiac muscle as well as nodal tissues too. You have two nodes are there, SA node and AV node. Now the question is about at AV node. What happens when AV node beta receptors are activated? Understand the question, then only answer it, because everything seems to correct. See, all beta agonists will increase contractility, they increase conduction velocity, they increase automaticity, they increase heart rate. Every option is right. But the question is particularly about at this node, at AV node. What happens at that AV node? See, the job of SA node is it will conduct the electric impulses to the entire atria. Whereas AV node, from here the conduction is passed through these entire ventricles. So what happens is at this node, when beta receptors are activated, it increases automaticity and conduction velocity. So this qualifies only answer, not the everything else. See, increase in heart rate, increase in contractility responds to cardiac muscle, not to nodes. So the question is selectively asking about AV node. See, this is a good question. In order to confuse students, they have made this one. So you need to understand this. See, at SA node it increases heart rate, but at atria increases conduction velocity and contractility. But AV node, automaticity and conduction velocity is increased. You need to analyze this chart, then only you will be able to understand this question and you can get the right answer. So what is the right answer in this respect? The right answer is this one, increasing automaticity and conduction velocity. Okay, moving to the next one. See, the anti-anginal drug that causes negative inotropic effect, AV block, bradycardia, decreased cardiac output, constipation, edema, and is contraindicated in 6 sinus syndrome. So all of them are adverse effects. There is a list of adverse effects and you need to figure out a drug which is causing all these adverse effects. Now look at the options: nifedipine, amlodipine, diltiazem, verapamil. All of them are calcium channel blockers. but there is a difference. Out of these calcium channel blockers, this class, nifedipine, amlodipine, dihydropyridines, they are blood vessel selective. They are selective towards blood vessel, whereas diltiazem and verapamil, they are cardioselective. So what are the options? The options indicates inotropic, negative inotropic effect. AV block means they are selective towards cardiac tissue. That means these two are not options because they don't cause this effect. These effects are caused by cardioselective calcium channel blockers. But again, in these two, which one is? See, this is the key. Sick sinus syndrome. If someone has got sick sinus syndrome, verapamil is contraindicated. Similarly, one of the major side effect of verapamil is constipation. So the option is verapamil. Let us understand what is the sick sinus syndrome. Sinus is nothing but SI node. So in certain people, SI node is pacemaker. I'm sorry, in all the people, SI node is pacemaker. But in certain people, the pacemaker does not work properly, and that is what is known as sick sinus syndrome. If pacemaker is not working properly, heart contractions are not good. Now, what is the effect of this drug? It is a cardiodepressant. In such patients, if you give verapamil, it is very dangerous. So it is contraindicated. So all the adverse effects are pointing towards verapamil. Understand this one. See, verapamil is contraindicated in case of sick sinus syndrome as well as heart blocks and hypotension. In all these conditions, heart functioning is not good. You cannot give verapamil. Similarly, other adverse effects, constipation, dizziness, headache, nausea, hypotension, all of them. So you need to analyze and then answer it. All of them are calcium channel blockers, but the adverse effect specifically points to verapamil. Moving to the next one. Now again, see, vigabatrin produces anti-epileptic action through. This is a direct mechanism oriented question. See, this is how vigabatrin acts. GABA is metabolized by GABA transaminase, and that metabolism is inhibited by vigabatrin. If the metabolism is inhibited, GABA levels are increased. If GABA levels are increased, it causes hyperpolarization, reduces CNS excitement, and it can be used to treat convulsions. This is how vigabatrin acts. So what is the answer? Inhibiting GABA transaminase enzyme which degrades GABA. So this is the answer. This is a direct mechanism related question. Now moving to the next one. Now see, this is also an important one. To monitor the safety of the new drug under actual conditions of use in large number of patients has been classified as which kind of trial? You know, the question is about clinical trials. You have phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. Understand the question. The question is given with a particular sense. See, to monitor safety of new drug under actual conditions of use. What do you mean by that? Conditions of use means already the drug is marketed. It is being used. If you understand clinical trials, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, once phase 3 is passed, then it gets into the market, it is under use, and that is phase 4. Phase 4, once it gets into the market, it is with very large number of people. Why it is done? See, after phase 3, in phase 4 is carried out to know what are the adverse effects. It is called as post-marketing surveillance. Post-market means it is in the market. Surveillance means again you are observing what all the adverse effects are there. So the question is asking about this one. To monitor the safety, post-market surveillance, this is, and the drug is already in use. Actual conditions of use means it is into the market. So this is directing towards phase 4. So now understand the importance of reading question properly. You need to understand the question, then only you could answer this. Most of the students has given phase 3 as option. No, it is phase 4. This is the key word. Actual conditions of use means it is in the market. That is what is the question about. So the answer is phase 4. It is in post-marketing surveillance phase. Okay, moving to the next one. Now again, mechanism oriented one. The immunosuppressant action of cyclosporine is due to how it acts. You know, we have a lot of immunosuppressants are there. I made a video on immunosuppressants too. Now see, the question is about cyclosporine. Now how it acts? It inactivates calcineurin, and that inhibits T cell activation. What happens with that? By blockade of calcineurin, it inhibits interleukin-2 synthesis, and IL-2 is very important one. All the interleukins activation, everything is under the control of IL-2. So the action is inhibition of gene transcription of interleukins. So interleukin activation is inhibited by cyclosporine. So this is again a directly mechanism oriented question. Now after this, now this is interesting one. Look at this. Mr. Z is receiving a drug X to control his BP. So he's taking his hypertensive. To control that hypertension, he is taking a drug known as X. Now he was prescribed a tricyclic antidepressants. Now tricyclic antidepressant, as the word indicates, it is used to treat depression. Now tricyclic antidepressants, how do they act? They inhibit reuptake of neurotransmitter. See, biogenic amines like norepinephrine and 5-hydroxytryptamine, they release, act on the receptors. The excess amount will be taken up into the neuron, and this reuptake is inhibited by TCS. So what happens? When the reuptake is inhibited, norepinephrine level and 5-hydroxytryptamine level increases at this junction. So increase at this junction will reduces depression, because depression, according to biogenic amine theory, depression is caused by reduced levels of biogenic amines like norepinephrine and 5-hydroxytryptamine, serotonin. So this is how a tricyclic antidepressant acts. Now, so he is using tricyclic antidepressant as well as antihypertensive agent. Now this resulted in abolition of antihypertensive action of X. So what could be the X is? Now what is the action of TCA? It is increasing the levels of norepinephrine and increasing the levels of 5-HT. So X action must be related to any of these two. Then only it is causing abolition of that activity. Now enalapril, how enalapril acts? It is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitor. It has nothing to do with norepinephrine or 5-HT. No, this is not. Clonidine, what is clonidine? Alpha-2 receptor agonist. What happens when alpha-2 receptor is activated? It inhibits the biosynthesis of norepinephrine. Now what is the action of tricyclic antidepressant? See, both of them opposite in action. So because of this, the action is abolished. So answer is clonidine. Now what is atenolol? Beta blocker, nothing to do with that one. Diltiazem, calcium channel blocker. So the answer is clonidine. So you need to thoroughly understand the mechanism, then answering questions will become easier. Moving to the next one. Now, which of the following is wrongly matched combination of anti-arrhythmic drugs and their class? So this is a directly classification based question. If you understand the classification, answering such kind of questions will become very easier. Now when you see arrhythmic drug classification, class 1, sodium channel blockers, you have quinidine, procainamide and disopyramide. All of them belong to class 1, whereas class 2, beta blockers, propranolol, metoprolol. Class 3, potassium channel blocker, amiodarone, sotalol. Class 4, calcium channel blocker, verapamil, diltiazem. Look at them. Lidocaine 1B, yes, it belongs to class 1. Disopyramide also belongs to class 1, but here the class is given as 2. So this is not correct. So this is what is asked, wrongly matched. Yes. Diltiazem, yes, calcium channel blocker, this belongs to class 4. Amiodarone, potassium channel blocker, class 3. Right. So what is the answer? Class 2. This is what is wrongly paired. So this is a direct classification based question. Most of the students will answer this correctly. Now the next one. Which of the following statement is correct with respect to their mechanism of action? Look at this one and the previous question. Both of them are related to classification. Classification, you have class, you have mechanism of action. Now out of the 4, one is correct and you need to find out which one is correct. Sitagliptin, vildagliptin, they are dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors. Bingo, this is the correct answer. Dapagliflozin, canagliflozin, no, AMPK activator is metformin. Whereas dapagliflozin, canagliflozin, they are sodium glucose transporter inhibitor at nephron. So they are wrongly paired. Glibenclamide, glimepiride, the sulfonylureas, they are insulin secretagogues. Alpha glucosidase inhibitor is in fact acarbose. So wrongly paired. Potassium channel blocker is this one in fact. So all of them are wrong except the first one. So the correctly paired one is this one. Again, if you understand the classification, excuse me, classification, you can easily write down the answer. See, canagliflozin, dapagliflozin, sodium glucose transporter inhibitor, whereas dipeptidyl peptidase inhibitor is sitagliptin, canagliptin, vildagliptin, I'm sorry. Alpha glucosidase inhibitor are acarbose, and then glibenclamide, gliclazide, all of them are sulfonylureas. So learning classification is always fetch you marks in pharmacology. So this is about 10 question analysis of GPAT 21. I'll continue the series next, and thank you for watching this video.